What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about a few different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about Scream 7, The Conjuring Last Rites, Terrifier 4, Saw 11, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, let's start off here with Scream 7. So, Kyle Winters is playing Aaron. We got another update about a character in Scream 7 from Jude over on Twitter, who's been quite reliable as of late when it comes to all things related to Scream 7. But we know Kyle Winters will be playing someone named Aaron. He's playing a student at the high school, and he's supposed to be in a play with Tatum and Hannah. Now, the rumor has it, because of course I'll just say this is all alleged, not confirmed, but with Jude's track record, no reason to doubt it. Plus, I have heard some things about another person backstage when some shenanigans go down in Scream 7. But according to the rumor, he has a very cool scene that happens backstage. Now, if you've been following some of the other updates and rumors that are out there about Scream 7, you probably have an idea of what's going to go down during a rehearsal sequence in Scream 7. Now, I thought this was pertaining to someone else, or maybe there's a couple people that are going to be encountering Mr. Ghostface and will not be making it out of this rehearsal. But yeah, Kyle Winters is playing Aaron. A couple people, I think, noticed this individual over on IMDb. Some of you sent them my way. I didn't know who that person was, hadn't heard anything about the individual, but Jude gave some clarity over the last couple of days. He's playing somebody named Aaron. Aaron doesn't sound like he's going to be making it to the final act. Aaron doesn't sound like he's going to be much of a big deal anyway, considering he hasn't even gotten some sort of press release acknowledgement. Nothing in Variety or anything like that. Very minor character who's probably going to die at rehearsal with some other people when Ghostface stalks the rehearsal for the production of this fairy god presentation they're doing at Pine Grove High School. But let's now talk about The Conjuring Last Rites. So James Wan has explained why The Last Rites will be the final installment. He said, "We don't want to be doing this 20 movies down the line where we've driven the franchise into the ground. We love the idea that we're going out with a big bang whilst everyone's still loving the world." What's funny about this comment is I know for a fact he's just simply addressing the mainline films. The mainline films, yes, we only have 4. But people will see this comment and they immediately have to start pulling things that he's not talking about. Oh, well, we have all these Annabelle movies and we have all these the Nun movies. We have all these spinoffs. That's not what he's getting at. He's strictly talking about the mainline Conjuring films, and those are still just 4 movies. We don't have a lot of those. 4 movies is not a lot. Granted, some people would read this comment and then go, "Ha, that's funny," because the 3rd movie is where you jump the shark. A lot of people, again, believe that the 3rd film is the weakest. The problem is, even if it is the weakest, I would say it's in the same boat with a film like Scream 3, even though people think Scream 3 is bad. I don't think that Scream 3 or The Conjuring 3 are bad films. They might be the weakest, but The Conjuring 3 to me still wasn't an overly bad film. It just was simply the weakest. The first 2 were just that much stronger. And we're hoping that with The Conjuring Last Rites, they can replicate the magic of those first 2 movies and not what we got with the 3rd one, which was just a little bit underwhelming. That's all. Just underwhelming compared to those first 2. A lot of that due to the fact that they weren't from James Wan, and he's not even doing this one, but apparently he had some type of guiding hand when it came to this latest production. So hopefully it goes out with a bang, and I get where he's coming from. It's nice to have a filmmaker like James Wan who understands that sentiment. You don't need to just keep cranking out film after film after film after film after film, although I'm pretty certain we'll see the Warrens again in the Conjuring TV show. If we don't, then we just don't. At some point down the road, they'll want to reboot it. James Wan can't stop them, and I'm pretty sure if Patrick and Vera are up for it, they'll be back. Now let's talk about Terrifier 4. So we got an update on Terrifier 4 from Damien Leone, who was asked by Collider if he worries about living up to the expectations when it comes to the origin stuff that's supposed to be going on in the upcoming film with Art the Clown. He said, "Of course, I worry about everything. 90% of my day is worrying. That's a huge concern. I love the mystique. That's the most important part. Even if people don't realize it because they're just so hungry to know what his deal is, I think a lot of people don't realize the reason he works so well is because of the mystique. If you pull the curtain back too far and you lose that mystique, it's over. You're not supposed to see the wizard behind the curtain. It's almost always a disappointment." He said, "I think there's a way with his origin to have my cake and eat it too." And then he's promising the mystique will remain intact and made references to David Lynch. I will say this. I hope he knows what he's doing, because he's right. He seems to be aware of what has happened in the past with some other horror icons. The immediate one that always sticks out is Michael Myers in The Curse of Thorn. I know the Thorn trilogy has its fans, and the route they took in Halloween 6. I'm not a fan of it. Halloween 6 is a movie I don't mind watching. Halloween 6 has phenomenal cinematography if I'm not going to pick at the script. The cinematography in the film is absolutely breathtaking. I'll give it that. But the way Michael Myers is just undermined because of that twist, I don't want to see something like that with Art the Clown. And even still, something as simple as Art the Clown and what we've been presented in those first 3 movies at this point, do we really need to peel back so many layers about the character? So I just hope that whatever he's cooked up isn't something that makes us go, Art's not scary anymore. Or Art's not even the one in the driver's seat. It's something else driving him. Like, we don't need anything like that. Don't undermine the character. Don't make me start thinking about some other bigger bad that's out there. No, let that stay with Art the Clown. Do not chip away at the mystique like he's referencing here. I hope he doesn't do that. He seemingly is aware of the risk he's taking, so hopefully it's a risk that pays off. Now let's talk about Saw 11. So James Wan also had an interview with Screen Rant. That other comment from The Conjuring actually might have been from Screen Rant as well. But James Wan teased a fresh start for Saw 11 in a new interview with Screen Rant. He said, I guess it's challenging and exciting because I get to come back to the movie that started my career, the career for myself and Lee Winnell. I'm not taking this very lightly at all, and I definitely want to find a way for the next movie to be respectful of what fans love about the franchise whilst finding a new audience for it. It's a 20-year-old franchise, and I do think finding a fresh start to some degree is important while still staying true to the world that we have created. Now, some people, of course, are going to hear that, read that, because, again, it's an article from Screen Rant. You can go read. And they're thinking, oh, well, you already tried that with Spiral and Jigsaw. Yeah, they did. They did try that. That doesn't mean they can't try it again and it won't be successful. Things change over time. Like I stated, I think that the audience is ready, the general public, not diehard Saw fans, because, again, those people are not enough to sustain Saw for the foreseeable future, and that's clearly what they're trying to do. They're trying to milk this. Tobin Bell and the narrative we've been getting with John Kramer ever since I was 6 years old, that is not enough. If you're going to keep cranking out Saw movies, you have to be able to find somebody, a new character, that will capture the same attention as what John Kramer did back in 2004. And I think the general public, who is very familiar with Saw, is ready to watch Saw movies that do not center around John Kramer. Die-hard fans can, again, be uppity about it all they want to. It does not matter. They're not going to make this movie for anything overly expensive. It's going to be relatively cheap, if they're smart anyway. And if it appeals to the general public with great marketing and, of course, positive word of mouth, and it has nothing to do with John Kramer, if they show up for it, they're going to stick to that path. They're not going to bring John Kramer back. I think we should be preparing for John Kramer not returning in Saw 11. If he is, then he just is. But everything that keeps coming from James Wan, as of right now, leads me to think that the days of Tobin Bell and John Kramer are done. Saw X was a nice send-off. Saw X could have been the final film in this franchise, and I would have been a happy camper. I'm looking forward to seeing what James Wan cooks up as it pertains to the future of Saw, and I cannot wait to see how the general public will react to it. Maybe it's not something that I will be down with, and I'll just stop watching Saw. That's fine. Maybe all of us listening to this video right now won't be down for it, and we'll stop watching Saw. The fact of the matter is, there's a wider general public that outnumbers us all, and if they are down for it, we don't matter. Now let's conclude this video by talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, I want to address Sarah Michelle Gellar and this latest debacle that's gone on with another show of hers. Sarah Michelle Gellar's schedule has one less show to worry about since that Dexter series got canceled. What's funny is it got renewed and then it got the plug pulled out for whatever reason. I didn't even bother to read it. I just thought that was very peculiar. I wanted to discuss the possibility of Sarah changing her mind about not leading as Buffy Summers for New Sunnydale. This is like the 3rd or 4th show I think that Sarah has done recently that failed to get a 2nd season. I really think that because of this and whatever potential mindsets she might have going into New Sunnydale, because that's like the biggest thing on her plate right now, I really think we have a shot at getting a full season centered on Buffy Summers as a lead now. That's if Sarah changes her mind. Because if people have been keeping up with this, Sarah's just not up for leading as Buffy Summers right now. But I could see her going, hey, you know what? Nothing else is working with these other shows. I'm about to jump back into the role as Buffy Summers. They're probably wanting me to commit full time anyway. And I could see her using the leverage she has to consider it and actually make it happen for a 2nd season. The 2nd season of this show could be a prequel to the inaugural season, in which we know we're going to be introduced to Nova, her friends, Buffy eventually getting into the mix to mentor Nova. We know that the pilot itself is supposed to end in a way that gets the audience, the general public, a bit more curious because Buffy Summers will appear at the end. So if curiosity can garner in enough attention for that first season, then in the second season, Nova can take a back seat. Save that for the third season, because I think the way they could tackle the second season, the third one would be inevitable. But a second season could dive into much older Buffy. You can throw in some amazing cameos from people like Eliza Dushku, if she's up for it. Get her back as Faith. Charisma Carpenter as Cordelia. Bring in some other familiar faces. Allison Hannigan as Willow. And explore Buffy's life in New York. Work your way up to how she got into this mentality of why she thinks being a Slayer ruined her life. And then go from there. And then season 3, of course, can be right back to Nova. I think a second season like that would be very enticing to the older Buffy fans who are not really up for this because they don't want to see anything about a new Slayer. They just want to see all Buffy all the time. And doing something like that in the second season could be a way to win those people over. I do think Sarah would ultimately want to consider something like this, considering the track record of some of these recent shows. And a season completely dedicated to Buffy Summers doesn't sound that bad. It's something that a lot of people do want if they're bringing this universe back. But you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications, your name is video. In the description, I have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.